Okay, get ready to dive deep because today we're exploring the world of near-death experiences.
NDEs.
Yeah, those mysterious events that blur the lines between life and, well, what might lie beyond.
Right.
And, you've given us such a fascinating collection of sources for this deep dive. We've got personal stories, those incredible accounts from NDRF, best-selling books that explore these experiences, and even a sneak peek at what's currently trending on Amazon.
It's amazing how NDEs have captured the public's imagination for, well, really for centuries.
That's true. They're not new at all, are they?
Not at all. We find accounts across cultures and time periods suggesting that this isn't just some modern phenomenon, but something much deeper.
Yeah, it's like it touches on something fundamental about the human experience.
Exactly.
And the thing is, these aren't just vague feelings people are reporting. They come back with such vivid details.
Right, like seeing a bright light, having that out-of-body sensation.
Or even a whole life review flashing before their
Yeah.
eyes.
It's that consistency, those common threads woven through these diverse accounts that make NDEs so compelling.
All right, let's jump right into it. You sent us some excerpts from NDERF, the Near Death Experience Research Foundation, and honestly, some of these stories are absolutely gripping.
I'm ready. It's through these personal narratives that we can really grasp what an NDE feels like, the impact it has on people's lives.
Okay, picture this. Lacey T is in this horrific car accident.
Oh, wow.
She describes this overwhelming sense of peace and love, and then she's suddenly outside her body watching her own car engulfed in flames from above.
That detachment from the physical body, the shift in perspective, is a hallmark of many NDEs.
It's incredible. She even remembers seeing her injured friend in the car, knowing his body was just an empty shell.
Slowing.
It's chilling and heartwarming all at the same time.
It speaks to the vividness, the realness of these experiences. They often transcend what we consider our normal five-sense reality.
Another one that really stuck with me was Karen BDK's story. She actually had multiple NDEs, but one in particular involved her finding herself in this idyllic field, lush green grass, rosy sky. And then she encounters her deceased husband.
The imagery of peaceful landscapes and reunions with loved ones is a common theme in NDEs. It points to a sense of transcendence, of comfort beyond the physical world.
And they communicate without words, but she understands that he's passed and has a message for her to care for their sons. Can you imagine the comfort, the closure that could bring?
Absolutely. It highlights how NDEs often trigger a profound shift in priorities, a deeper appreciation for life and relationships.
It really makes you think, what would you take away from such an encounter? What would your message be?
That's a powerful question. It invites us to examine our own values, what truly matters.
But here's where things get even more fascinating. NDEs, they're not all sunshine and roses. Some involve difficult emotions, tough choices.
Right, they're not all blissful journeys. They can be challenging, even disturbing.
Take Andrew J., for example. He's told he can't stay in this other realm. But then he makes a deliberate choice to return to his living brother. That sense of responsibility, even when faced with the unknown, is incredible.
It really is. It speaks to the emotional depth of these experiences, the power of human connection, even in the face of death.
And then there's Mukurarinda D. During her NDE, she has this conversation with her deceased father, and they're standing beside a figure she identifies as the Lord.
Encounters with religious figures or deities are another recurring theme, offering comfort, guidance, or that sense of divine presence.
And her father's message, simple but so poignant. Take care of your brother. Even in the midst of this extraordinary experience, those family bonds shine through.
It's a recurring message, isn't it? A reminder that love and connection are central, even in the face of death.
But wait, there's more. Michael K's NDE takes a different turn. He not only meets someone who recently died, but also sees Earth from above and is struck by its dirtiness, its confusion. He describes himself as too clean for this world now.
That expanded awareness, that reevaluation of our earthly concerns, is a common after effect. It often leads people to re-examine their priorities, their values.
And get this, a young boy, years later, recalls his NDE after a bike accident as a child. He meets his deceased brother in the white light, and the brother tells him, "It's not your time."
Chills.
It gives you chills just thinking about it.
It really does. It raises profound questions about the nature of time and consciousness during these experiences. Can we glimpse the future? Is it symbolic? Inner guidance?
And the fact that he remembers this from childhood, years later, it's like these experiences leave an indelible mark.
They do. They can shape beliefs, values, even lead to significant personal transformation.
Okay, so before we get completely lost in these individual stories, which are all incredible, let's zoom out for a moment. We've got this list of the 100 best-selling NDE books of all time.
The sheer volume is pretty mind-boggling. It speaks to a growing public fascination with NDEs. People who are seeking answers, trying to grapple with the big questions of life and death.
Exactly. And we've got everything from Heaven is for Real, which taps into that love for those aha
Yeah,
moments,
right?
to Journey of Souls, which explores this whole concept of life between lives, multiple incarnations.
It's a fascinating spectrum of perspectives, from personal accounts to spiritual interpretations, even attempts to understand NDEs through the lens of science.
And then there's The Light Beyond, which, well, I think the title says it all, doesn't it?
It does, and it's a classic for a reason. The Light Beyond was groundbreaking work by Dr. Raymond Moody, really one of the pioneers in this field. It brought NDEs into the mainstream.
It definitely did. So I'm curious, out of all these books, which titles really pique your interest? What speaks to you?
I'm drawn to those that combine personal stories with insightful analysis, like Journey of Souls. It's that balance of emotional impact and intellectual exploration that makes you think. What about you?
Well, I've got to admit, Journey of Souls, that whole concept of life between lives, is really fascinating to me. But now, let's dive into some more firsthand accounts. We've got these stories from IND's, the International Association for Near-Death Studies.
IND is doing some fantastic work, collecting and analyzing thousands of accounts, promoting research, really advocating for a deeper understanding of this phenomenon.
Yeah, and they published this amazing collection called Beyond the Light. It's a treasure trove of experiences. For example, we have Bryce Bond, a media personality turned parapsychologist who describes being greeted by his dog Pepe in his NDE.
Oh,
I know, right?
it's beautiful. These encounters with animal companions emphasize those profound bonds we forge in life.
He feels Pepe's fur, hears his breathing. It's a reunion words can hardly capture.
And it suggests that these bonds might even transcend death, which is a comforting thought for many.
But then we have Jean Epley's experience, which is a stark contrast. Hers is actually quite frightening.
Right, and it's important to acknowledge that NDEs are not always positive. They can involve challenging or distressing elements, just like life itself.
She describes feeling stuck, unable to breathe, and then being pulled back into her body almost forcefully. And what's strange is this difficult NDE seemed to mirror challenges she faced later in life.
That's interesting. Some NDEs seem to foreshadow or parallel life events, raising questions about their connection to our personal journeys.
It definitely makes you wonder. Now, for something a bit lighter, Gloria Hippel's NDE really shows the diversity of these events. She describes feeling incredibly cold, and then she's shaking hands with, wait for it, a skeletal figure she perceives as the Grim Reaper.
Wow. The personification of death, drawing on cultural imagery, is an intriguing element. It reflects our beliefs and anxieties about the transition from life to death.
But hold on, because it doesn't end there. Her NDE shifts, becomes incredibly positive. She's enveloped in brilliant light. It's like a reminder that even within a single experience, there can be these dramatic shifts.
NDEs are dynamic, multifaceted. They defy our linear understanding of time and reality.
And like many others, Gloria's NDE left a lasting impact. She describes becoming less self-serious, more appreciative of the simple things.
That change in values, that newfound appreciation for life is a common thread, leading people to live with greater purpose.
But NDEs can also bring challenges. Take Sandra Brock, who had a terrifying experience. She was pulled through a tunnel, surrounded by deceased people from her past who had hurt her.
Those negative NDEs, they're crucial to consider. They remind us that these experiences aren't always blissful or comforting.
And she describes it as a haunting. It deeply affected her. What's fascinating is that Sandra has had several NDE-type experiences throughout her life, including one where she seemed to remember her time in the womb.
The idea of pre-birth awareness is intriguing, and it definitely challenges our understanding of consciousness and when it begins.
It's mind-blowing. And to think, these are just a few of the many stories out there. Now let's see what's currently resonating with readers. We've got this list of the top-selling NDE books on Amazon.
It's always fascinating to see what captures the public's attention, what themes resonate with people seeking meaning and understanding.
At the top, we have Proof of Heaven by Dr. Eben Alexander, a neurosurgeon who had an NDE while in a coma.
His story really shook things up in the medical and scientific communities, coming from someone with his background.
Then there's 90 Minutes in Heaven by Don Piper, who was declared dead after a car accident.
And Dying to Be Me by Anita Marjani, focusing on her amazing recovery from cancer after an NDE.
These are bestsellers for a reason. People are clearly drawn to these stories of hope, resilience, and overcoming incredible challenges. But let's see what's new in the field of NDE research. We've got some recent reports from NDAR.
NDRF's work is so valuable. They're constantly collecting and analyzing these experiences, adding to our understanding.
And let me tell you, these reports are packed with details. We've got Gary G., whose NDE involved a voice telling him it's not your time. Susan W., who was hidden from death by a lady in white. And Tyler G., who experienced his life from multiple perspectives.
Wow, multiple perspectives.
Yeah, it's incredible.
These diverse accounts highlight the common threads we've discussed, and they point to some truly intriguing aspects that need further investigation.
Absolutely. And there's even a Spanish NDE reminding us that cultural background plays a big role in how these experiences are perceived.
That's right. NDEs, while having universal elements, are also shaped by beliefs and traditions.
And then we have Tommy M., who described hearing a tribal drum sound throughout his NDE. It's fascinating how sound can play such a powerful role.
It speaks to the way these experiences engage our senses, often in ways that go beyond our ordinary perception.
Okay, I'm officially mind blown. I mean, we've only just begun to explore this, and it's already so deep. What are your initial thoughts?
Mm.
We've got peaceful reunions, terrifying hauntings, glimpses of heaven, scientific attempts to explain it all.
What strikes me is the transformative power of these experiences. Regardless of the specifics, NDEs often lead to profound shifts in values, a greater appreciation for life, a diminished fear of death.
It's like they offer a glimpse into a reality that challenges everything we thought we knew.
Exactly. And the ongoing research by organizations like NDRF is helping us move from speculation to a more comprehensive understanding.
It's an exciting time for this field. But before we go any further, I'm curious, what's really stood out to you the most? What's captured your imagination?
What resonates with me is that common thread of love that runs through so many of these accounts. Despite all the variations, there's this underlying message of love, of connection, that seems to transcend cultures and belief systems.
That's a beautiful observation. It's definitely something to hold on to as we continue exploring this fascinating world of NDEs.
Absolutely. It's a journey worth taking, one that invites us to consider the possibility of something far greater than we might have imagined.
Well, hold on tight because this deep dive is about to get even deeper.
Oh, yes. We're going to delve into NDEs that challenge our very notions of time, space, and even identity.
Buckle up. Get ready for a mind-bending ride.
Absolutely. We're venturing into territory where reality itself seems to shift and bend.
You mentioned some NDEs that really challenge our understanding of reality. Let's dive into those mind-bending experiences.
All right, let's start with Sedavita Dirapentini.
Okay.
She had multiple NDEs.
Wow.
But one stands out as particularly strange. Imagine this. She's observing her own body from outside.
Okay.
A common element, right?
Right.
But then she sees her soul,
Her soul.
standing separate from both her physical body and her out-of-body perspective.
Wait, so she sees her soul as a separate thing?
Exactly, as a distinct entity.
Yeah.
And she describes it as this radiant being, clothed in white, with a soft white halo. It's this layered experience of self, a concept that really challenges our understanding of a singular identity.
That's incredible. It's like those Russian nesting dolls, but for consciousness.
A perfect analogy. And this idea of a layered perception pops up in other NDE accounts too, suggesting that our sense of self might be more fluid, more multifaceted than we realize.
It makes you think, what is the true self in these experiences? Is it the physical body, the observing consciousness, or something else entirely?
That's a question that's puzzled philosophers for ages, right?
Right.
NDEs offer a unique perspective on this age-old mystery.
Okay, so we've got layers of self. What other examples do you have that bend the rules of reality as we know them?
Well, let's talk about time. You remember Milk, who had an NDE after a near-fatal encounter with a speeding car.
I do, yeah.
He described seeing his entire life flash before him, not in a linear progression, but all at once, simultaneously.
It's like time collapses in on itself, and for this to happen when the brain is supposedly shutting down, it's mind-boggling.
Precisely. It challenges our linear concept of time and suggests that consciousness might operate outside of those limitations. And actually, one of the excerpts from NDERF involves a man, Jean-Pierre H., who, during his NDE, was shown how his past, present, and future were all happening at the same time.
That's incredible. But we've talked about how NDEs can be peaceful and profound, but as we've seen, they're not always easy or comforting. Sandra Brock's haunting experience is a stark reminder of that. It wasn't just seeing those deceased people from her past, it was their laughter, their screaming, their negative energy directed right at her.
Negative NDEs are often overshadowed by those more positive accounts, but they're important. They remind us that these experiences, while often positive, can also reflect our fears, our traumas, and unresolved issues.
It's like those unresolved emotions or conflicts are manifesting in the NDE, though whether they're symbolic or represent actual encounters is unclear.
That's a good point. The interpretation of NDEs, particularly those with negative elements, is subjective and varies widely.
And then there are NDEs that seem tied to a greater purpose. In Beyond the Light, there's an account from a young man who had an NDE after a suicide attempt. It wasn't negative, but incredibly impactful. He came back with this clear message that suicide wasn't the answer, and he felt this renewed sense of purpose to help others struggling with similar thoughts.
That's a powerful example of how NDEs, even when challenging, can be a catalyst for growth and healing and positive change.
It really shows how the impact of these experiences can extend beyond the individual, touching their relationships and the wider community.
Absolutely. The transformative potential of NDEs often has a ripple effect.
Yeah.
It's not just contained to the person who has the experience.
Speaking of influential figures, we can't forget Ernest Hemingway, the literary giant. He had what he called a soul leaving the body experience during World War I.
Right, Hemingway.
Yeah.
His account, although brief, emphasizes how universal these phenomena are. Even individuals who might not be particularly spiritual or religious can have these profound encounters that suggest a separation of consciousness from the body.
And it obviously affected him deeply. He even incorporated a similar scene into his novel, A Farewell to Arms.
It really highlights the creative potential of these experiences, right?
Right.
How they can inspire art, literature, other forms of expression that grapple with these big questions of life and death.
Okay, get ready for this one. John R. Leona from Brooklyn had this recurring dream throughout his life. He believes it was actually a memory of his traumatic birth. He describes being in bright light, trying to untie knots, and even seeing a woman in a flowing gown.
This concept of pre-birth memories or experiences is fascinating,
Hmm.
and it's hotly debated. Some might dismiss it as fantasy, while others believe that consciousness might exist even before we enter the physical world.
It definitely challenges our conventional understanding of the timeline of life and raises questions about memory, consciousness, and the nature of reality itself.
Exactly. NDEs often challenge us to consider possibilities that lie outside our current framework, what we think we know,
Right.
what we assume.
Exactly. Let's shift gears for a moment.
Okay,
From the individual to the collective.
okay.
There's a fascinating comparison in Beyond the Light between two historical figures. The soldier from Plato's writings who seemingly died and came back with spiritual knowledge, and Joan of Arc, who claimed to hear voices and have visions guiding her actions.
It's an interesting comparison.
It is.
It highlights how the impact of those claiming transcendent experiences can have on society, right?
Yeah.
They can inspire positive change, like with or be met with fear and persecution, as Joan of Arc experienced.
It really underscores the role of cultural context in shaping how these experiences are perceived and received.
Absolutely. The interpretation of NDEs, especially those with profound spiritual implications, is often heavily influenced by the prevailing beliefs and values of the time.
Now, back to personal impact. Gloria Hippel's hellish NDE, where she faced that skull-faced figure in a dark void, is a powerful example of how these experiences can be terrifying, yet transformative.
Right, her experience was really frightening.
It was.
It's a reminder that NDEs encompass this full spectrum of human emotions and experiences, from our deepest fears to the most ecstatic joy.
What's amazing is that she emerged from that darkness with this newfound strength and a deeper appreciation for life. It's like facing her fears in the NDE empowered her to face challenges in her waking life.
That sense of empowerment, that diminished fear of death, is common. It's as if confronting the unknown, even in its most frightening aspects, can foster greater peace and resilience.
And it's not just about overcoming hardship, it's about finding meaning and purpose, like Alice Morrison Mays. Her NDE was a journey into what she calls total freedom unconditionally. She felt this profound interconnectedness with everything and learned about what she calls the geography of the soul.
This concept of expanded awareness, of a soul's journey and interconnectedness with a larger consciousness, is central to many NDE accounts. It suggests that our individual consciousness might be part of something much vaster, more universal.
And it wasn't just a fleeting feeling for her. Her NDE led her to make these significant changes in her life, embracing her passion for music and working in hospice care.
It's a great example of how these experiences can lead to a reevaluation of priorities. People start living a more purposeful, more meaningful life, aligned with their values and a deeper sense of purpose.
And then we have the story of Gary B. and Debbie, two friends who both had NDEs while drowning. They independently describe these similar experiences, this golden glow, a life review, even seeing themselves in a casket. It's like their consciousnesses merged during that near-death event.
Shared NDEs are especially intriguing. They suggest a potential interconnectedness of consciousness during these experiences that challenges our usual concept of individual awareness.
It's as if their souls went on this shared journey, even though their bodies were separate.
It really raises profound questions about the nature of reality itself and how our individual consciousness might be interconnected in ways we don't fully understand.
Okay, we've covered hellish NDEs, shared NDEs, pre-birth memories. What else have you got that pushes the boundaries of what we think is possible?
Hold on to your hats for this one. Mellon Thomas Benedict's experience. He was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And during his NDE, not only did he go through the tunnel and the light, he actually stopped the experience and demanded to think about it.
Wait, he paused his own NDE? That's incredible. Like he took control of the narrative, defying the usual flow of events.
Exactly. And by doing so, he embarked on an even more extraordinary journey. He explored these realms beyond comprehension, witnessed the Big Bang, even glimpsed into the future.
His NDE became this cosmic odyssey, tailored to his own curiosity. And here's the unbelievable part. He came back from his NDE and his cancer was gone. Completely gone.
Spontaneous remission after an NDE, while rare, is a documented phenomenon. It suggests a powerful connection between consciousness, healing, and transformation.
But his story doesn't end there. He came back with this flood of ideas for inventions, many of which he actually patented. It's like his NDE unlocked this hidden wellspring of creativity and insight within him.
This theme of enhanced creativity or profound insights after NDEs is another piece of the puzzle. It suggests that these experiences can tap into hidden abilities, connect us to a wider field of information, something beyond our normal awareness.
Truly remarkable. It makes you wonder about the untapped potential within all of us. What if we all have access to such profound insights and creative sparks?
It's a tantalizing thought, isn't it? NDEs challenge us to expand our understanding of what's possible, of the potential of human consciousness.
But as we've seen, these experiences can also be disruptive, difficult to integrate back into everyday life. Berkeley Carter Mills, who had a profound NDE after a near-fatal accident, faced a lot of hardship afterward. People doubted him. He lost friends, even his job.
Social isolation and the struggle to integrate these profound experiences back into everyday life are common challenges for NDers. Their experiences are often so far outside the realm of normal understanding. It's difficult to relate to those who haven't had similar encounters.
It really highlights the need for support and understanding, communities where NDers can connect and navigate those challenges of integration.
Exactly. Organizations like INDS play a vital role in providing that support and fostering that sense of community. It can be a lifeline for people who feel like they're alone in these experiences.
But even with the challenges, NDEs can clearly be catalysts for incredible personal growth. Jean Epley's hellish NDE, while frightening, seemed to foreshadow those difficult trials she later faced in life.
It makes you wonder, do NDEs merely reflect life events, or could they potentially foreshadow them? It's an intriguing area for further research. Perhaps there's a connection between these experiences and the paths our lives take.
And she emerged from those trials with newfound strength and resilience. It's like her NDE, even with its negative aspects, equipped her for the challenges ahead. It's almost like a form of preparation.
It underscores that even the most challenging experiences, those that might seem negative, can be opportunities for growth, leading to greater self-awareness and inner strength.
And it's not just about overcoming hardship. It's about finding a deeper meaning and purpose. Like Alice Morrison Mays, whose NDE inspired her to embrace her musical talents and to work in hospice care.
It highlights the transformative power these experiences can have, shifting priorities leading to a more fulfilling life.
These experiences, with all their mysteries and complexities, can guide us towards a more profound understanding of ourselves and our place in the world.
I agree. It's important to listen to the messages and insights NDEs offer, both on a personal and a collective level.
But let's not forget those moments of pure joy and beauty, like Bryce Bond's reunion with his dog, Pepe. It's a heartwarming reminder that NDEs encompass the full spectrum of human emotions, from despair to the heights of love and joy.
Yes. It suggests those bonds we forge in life may extend beyond the physical realm, hinting at a more profound and interconnected reality, something greater than ourselves.
A beautiful thought, and one that speaks to the profound mystery and beauty of consciousness itself.
Absolutely. NDEs offer a glimpse into the vast unknown, challenging us to expand our understanding of what's possible and to embrace the mystery of life itself.
You know, as amazing as these personal stories are, I'm curious to see what scientific research can tell us about NDEs.
That's a great point. We're lucky to have those recent reports from NDRF, the Near-Death Experience Research Foundation.
Bring on the science. I'm eager to hear how researchers are trying to make sense of these mind-blowing experiences.
Well, one of the most fascinating findings is that NDEs can occur even when the brain is clinically inactive.
Really?
Yes, suggesting that consciousness might not be solely dependent on brain function.
Wow, that's huge. It challenges the idea that consciousness is just a product of the brain and raises the possibility that it might exist independently of the physical body.
Exactly. It opens up a whole new realm of possibilities for understanding consciousness and its relationship to the physical world.
So what kind of studies are they doing to support those findings?
One intriguing study involved placing hidden images or objects in hospital rooms where cardiac arrests were likely to occur. The idea was that if patients having NDEs could accurately describe those hidden elements, it would suggest their consciousness was operating outside their physical bodies.
That's brilliant. It's like a real-life paranormal investigation, but with a scientific approach.
And the results? Well, some patients did report seeing things consistent with those hidden images. The findings are still being debated and further research is needed, but it's a fascinating avenue of exploration.
It's certainly controversial, but it pushes the boundaries of what we thought we knew about consciousness and the brain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
NDRF is also collecting data on a wide range of NDE elements, from the tunnel and light to the life review, to map the commonalities and variations in these experiences.
They're building a database. It's a goldmine for research.
Exactly. And their findings are shedding light on the psychological, social, and spiritual impact of these experiences, helping us to move beyond speculation and toward a more holistic understanding of NDEs.
Let's get back to those recent reports. What kind of details are we seeing in these latest accounts? What are people experiencing?
Well, there's Gary G., whose NDE involved a voice telling him it's not your time. This theme of being told to return to life is quite common, suggesting a sense of purpose, of unfinished business that the experiencer needs to fulfill.
It's like they're shown a glimpse of a greater plan, a reason for their continued existence.
Then there's Susan W., who is hidden from death by a lady in white. This imagery of a protective or guiding figure appears frequently, offering comfort and reassurance in the face of the unknown.
It speaks to our human need for support and guidance, even if the source of that support seems to originate beyond our normal understanding.
And Tyler G's account is fascinating. He describes experiencing his life from multiple perspectives during his NDE, like gaining this panoramic view of his life, understanding the interconnectedness of all his actions and relationships.
That's incredibly insightful, the ability to step outside your limited ego perspective and see the bigger picture, how our lives intertwine. It's a powerful concept.
Exactly. It highlights the potential of NDEs to cultivate empathy, compassion, a deeper understanding of the human experience.
And we have that Spanish NDE reminding us of the importance of cultural context. These universal elements are often filtered through individual beliefs and traditions, shaping the way the experience unfolds.
It's a crucial point. NDEs, while pointing to something universal about human consciousness, are also expressed through the lens of individual and cultural perspectives.
So it's not this one-size-fits-all phenomenon, but a tapestry woven from individual, cultural, and perhaps spiritual threads.
A beautiful way to put it. It really underscores the need for a multidisciplinary approach to understanding NDEs, incorporating insights from psychology, neuroscience, anthropology, even philosophy.
So we've covered science, personal stories, cultural perspectives. What's left to explore in this deep dive into the world of NDEs?
Well, I think it's time we shift our focus to the big picture. What can these experiences tell us about the nature of consciousness, the possibility of an afterlife, and the meaning of life itself?
Now, those are some truly big questions, but after all we've explored today, I'm ready to tackle them head on.
Excellent. Let's see what insights we can glean from these remarkable accounts and the ongoing research into this fascinating phenomenon.
Lead the way. I'm eager to see where this deep dive takes us next. We've explored some truly incredible NDEs, stories that challenge our understanding of life, death, and reality itself. Now it's time to tackle the big questions. What do these experiences tell us about consciousness, the possibility of an afterlife, and the meaning of life?
It feels like every NDE we've explored ultimately points us to that age-old question, what happens after we die? It's the ultimate mystery. And while we can't offer definitive answers, NDEs provide some fascinating clues.
It's true. It's impossible to ignore those recurring themes: the tunnel, the light, the feeling of peace, the life review. They appear in accounts from all over the world, throughout history. Makes you wonder if there's a shared human experience here, a glimpse into a reality beyond our normal perception.
That's what many NDEs believe. They come back convinced of an afterlife, a realm that transcends our physical limits. Remember, heaven is for real. That story of the young boy visiting heaven resonated with millions. It taps into that human longing for something more, a place where love and joy prevail.
It makes you think. And some NDEs, like those described in Journey of Souls, suggest that we might even go through multiple lifetimes, learning and evolving with each experience. The idea of reincarnation. That death might be a transition, not an ending. It's a profound concept.
It challenges that Western linear view of life. But, with any topic that pushes those boundaries of our understanding, there are skeptical viewpoints to consider as well.
You're right, we can't ignore those. Some skeptics believe NDEs can be explained by physiological changes in the brain during times of stress, like oxygen deprivation or endorphin release.
Those are valid points. Healthy skepticism is always a good thing. However, some NDE accounts are difficult to explain away so easily. Like, how could someone accurately describe details from the operating room while clinically dead? Those cases raise questions science is still grappling with.
That's where organizations like NDRF are so crucial. They're collecting data, conducting research, approaching these experiences from multiple angles: scientific, psychological, even spiritual. They're piecing together a complex puzzle. And NDEs are those fascinating, irregular pieces that don't quite fit the conventional framework.
They make us question our assumptions.
They do. So we've talked about the possibility of an afterlife, but NDEs also seem to offer these insights into the meaning of life itself. What kind of shifts do people experience after these events? What do they come back with?
It's remarkable how many NDEs return with a profound shift in values and priorities. They often describe a diminished fear of death, a deeper appreciation for life, and a stronger sense of love and connection to others.
It's like they've been given a glimpse of what truly matters, and it reshapes their whole perspective on life.
Yeah.
It really matters, yeah.
Exactly. And this shift often translates into a greater sense of purpose, a desire to live a more meaningful life, focused on love, compassion, service to others.
So NDEs might not give us a specific answer to the question of life's meaning, but they can act as a catalyst.
Right, guiding us towards our own unique purpose, our path.
It's an incredibly powerful message, but I have to ask, if NDEs are so transformative, why don't we all have them?
That's a question a lot of people ponder. There's no definitive answer. But some believe that maybe NDEs are a part of a soul's journey, occurring at specific times or for specific reasons.
Maybe like a nudge from the universe, you know?
Exactly. And even if we don't have a full-blown NDE, we can access those profound insights, those shifts in perspective through other means: meditation, spending time in nature, engaging in creative pursuits, even just deep self-reflection.
It's not about chasing after NDEs, but about cultivating a sense of openness, curiosity, a willingness to explore the mysteries of consciousness, both within ourselves and in the world around us.
Absolutely. NDEs offer a glimpse into the vast unknown, but they also remind us that the most profound journey is the one we take within.
Well, this deep dive has been incredible. We've explored the peace, the beauty, the challenges, the complexities of NDEs, and uncovered some truly mind-blowing accounts from the sources you provided.
It's been a privilege to share this exploration with you and to really delve into these big questions NDEs raise about reality, the afterlife, the meaning of life itself.
And to you listening, we hope this deep dive has sparked your own curiosity and maybe even left you with more questions than answers.
That's a good thing.
It is. It means you're thinking, exploring.
Remember, the journey of discovery is ongoing. NDEs offer a fascinating glimpse into the vast unknown. They invite us to keep exploring, keep questioning, keep seeking a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe we inhabit.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we'll leave you with one final thought. If you were to have an NDE, what message would you bring back? What insights would you share with the world?
Take some time to reflect on that question. You might be surprised by the wisdom that emerges.
Until next time, keep diving deep, keep seeking truth, and keep embracing the mystery.